China has a history, has gone through the Cultural Revolution, has gone through, last 3 decades is an agriculture um, society, and look at where it is today as well. It's competing with America and around the globe. And hi to that viewer, how are you? If you have any other questions, you can put it on the comments below. All good. Um, and China is taking the best of the values around the world and bring it to within their country. They wouldn't take the bad, the pros, the cons. They wouldn't take the cons of the country. Now, what I mean by that is China has always been a society that is always family orientated. Family, if you have to build families for them, governments are there, reduce or taxes, this and that, but the people of their own citizens support their own families to give the best of the best of the families or chase their China dream. All right. So what they do, they go through around the world, they see what's good and what's bad, and take the good side and take it to their culture. They take every single thing that's culture, and they try to minimize the dysfunctional or disorder in the society. China is at the moment is all about hypergamy, and it's all about high socioeconomic. Everyone's chasing this dream, where China has always this sense of vanity lifestyle image as well. In Chinese, we have this strong phrase we call 面子,靠面子. No matter how poor, how rich, there's always go through this vanity, this image, and show who you are and things like that. And we don't want to lose face. Pretty much, just don't want to lose face. It's very, very strong. And we see around the world, we're taking the best, not only just the best value, best of the best made, or apples, from fruits to whatever you could think of. All right. And it's always been to that case. We wanted to be hypergamy for the children's. Now we're taking the best formula for milk powder around the world, where regardless it's Australia, whatever was the world's best offer, regardless of seafood or things like that. China has always been that society, and it's always been the case. And a lot of the areas what China is doing is, even though there's a lot of internal problems in the country, but also I really admire what the country is going towards to. You see, going to a Western world, especially like Australia, where I am, or New Zealand, or Canada, or America, or London, like UK, you guys can name it. These countries are only good for when you're young or when you have a family. But when you start to get when you start to age, it doesn't work that way. These Western countries used to can provide what it used to have, but not anymore. And when you go to that stage, it brings out a lot more unhappiness of the community. Many elders or many locals really does not like what the government doing, bringing more refugees, as there's a lot of huge funding, a slice of the pot of the government going to refugees or migrants, where the local people, such as the elders, are not getting pensions or not eligible for pensions, or making stricter criteria for pensions, age pensions. Or right now, what do we say? Stricter guideline. I have to stand up. Oh gosh. Sorry, I have to tilt it up. Stricter guidelines for perhaps the getting the social security. There's a lot more stricter than ever did before. The Western government cannot articulate or how to solve this sort of first world countries' problems. Instead, we inherit from other countries who has a very, very good report of human rights rankings. Now, what's a good human rights ranking? Number one on list is Scandinavian countries, and you can Google this up, and we have to adopt that. We have to apply for that, complied. Well, China has one of the worst human rights, right? Not to mention about it, But also the way how it is, a lot of people in China, even though they say, "Oh, we hate China," this and that, but when the moment they step out of their country and go to first world country, and if when they fully understand how it runs, they really dislike it and they'll go back to the country. They start to realize what China is really is about, what the government is really providing for the people. Um, Even though China is heading towards the aging society, and there's a huge imbalance with gender as well. There's a lot of social problems, but there's a lot of like these government areas is really good. Maybe this is just the beginning phase of China on introducing these sort of areas. Maybe later on we end up like the Western world. Who knows? But what I can guarantee you is that currently a lot of them will want to say China is a lot better than the first world countries. Where first world countries are a lot more behind or not as advanced as where China is, all the lawmakings or things like that. It's more towards the people. Now I know most of you guys say, "Well, it's a communist, they take snatching lands off you and this and that." I'm not gonna say that that never happens. I'm saying that there's good and bad, and as well, what do you see in that area? I think it's more for majority. China's always focused more of the majority instead of the minority. In the Western world, we are more focused on the minority instead of the majority. So you have that, and I know you guys are saying, well, can you give us a kind of example? There's a lot of examples in China. Is a lot more better. For example, in the Western world, if you want to get age pensions, they're making stricter guideline eligibility year by year, where there's a lower taxpayers or wage earners. Let's put it that way. In comparison, we are slowly growing more of the social welfare, or those who are receiving welfare payments, governments. And when you have that, where China, you guys already know, they're the manufacturer hub in the world. When the manufacturer hub in the world, and also being, going towards to. Sorry, I got to put the camera down. Going towards to the competing to with America. Well, whether you like it or not, but that's currently the way how it is. And you have that. So when you have that, it brings out a lot where this country potential. This country, they fight as one. The people will fight for the country as well. They work hard for the country as well and get what they get from the government. I don't know how long is this gonna last for. Or maybe it's like another Western world, as as once was like that, but now it's a different story. Now, one of the areas that the age pension in China is pretty good is that there's a thing called you have to work for life insurance, or you have to keep working to get to the stage to be eligible. And number two is that it really encouraged those who are hypergamy or those who are high IQ. So those who are doctors and lawyers and things like that, unlike the Western world, if you receive an age pension, all of us receive the same amount or roughly the same amount, depending on the assets and things like that. So China, what they do is that, for example, give you example. So imagine me, okay, before I retired, I earned 10,000 per month. For the government, they'll say, okay, you know what, when you retire at the age of 55, 57, around that bracket, all right, depending which trade you're in, you divide it by 2. So you half by 10,000 to 5,000, and you get 5,000 obviously every year increase as well. That makes sense. So that's why you kind of understand why Chinese parents encourage their kids to study the best of the best or doing all the tutoring. And the Western world is more like, you know what, you have your freedom, you do whatever you want. You want to be a high school dropout, no problem. You want to change your courses, no problem. You want to go to TAFE, no problem. You want to date as many girls, no problem. You want to have marriage or divorce a couple of times, no problem. We live in that society. Where China, even though it's leaning towards the Western world, but there's always strong fundamental of the family, traditional nuclear family. This family is a sense of, there's a goal. And the Western world we have kept a long distance with this whole traditional family. Many of them will live in a nuclear family nowadays. and supported by that decisions. And we shrink from big tribes to all the way to down to individuals to create a family, but before it was a whole tribe. So I don't know if this video is really get to you guys. It's all about the social problems. It's all about the welfare. It's all about how the government is treating. It's about the taxes and things like that. If you don't quite understand, it's for me. It's I can't name drop it straight away because I'm gonna make like 5 videos straight away after this. 3 more videos after this, and there's so many aspects, and they're taking the best of the best from the world, and now you understand why China the way how it is today. And when they do take the best of the best, they create it even better. Whether you guys is saying it's copy or fake, that is that's an argument that you guys will go through, but that's not my argument there. My argument is they're the best of the best and they create what's fit for their society. And yeah, that's about it.